Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty blog, and welcome to this week's Pick 5. Now, if you watched the last couple Pick 5s, you'll know that I thought there was very low inventory in the month of January. I didn't think there was enough new listings to do Pick 5s on houses and houses in certain areas, and I stand by that. But the TREB numbers came out and they tell a slightly different story. Inventory is actually up 0.6%, which let's call that a rounding error. I truly thought that inventory was going to plummet once the TREB numbers came out. So on par with last year, I mean, okay, no big deal. Now, I would also suggest that if you took a deeper dive into the numbers, I think what that'll show is that the central core suffered, and maybe we're just seeing a heck of a lot more in the 905, because don't forget the TREB numbers show all of the GTA. So I think I'm going to look into this, and I might do a blog post on it for Friday. But in the meantime, I did want to look at a few listings that we've got this week in the Wychwood area. So for those of you who have seen previous Pick 5s on Wychwood, let me go to the map here. It's an interesting area because, like many other areas, it's tough to define. So I'll zoom in and we'll take a look at where Google Maps says Wychwood is, which is right here at Davenport and Ossington. Now the Wychwood Barns is actually over here on the other side of Christie. So most people would consider this here prime Wychwood. Google says Wychwood's down here. They talk to us about Regal Heights. They talk to us about Humewood, Hillcrest Village. For all intents and purposes, when I talk about Wychwood, if I'm talking to clients, I'll ask them to define it. Are you talking Wychwood, Humewood, Cedarvale? Which is sort of all one, right? Here's Humewood, here's Cedarvale, and Wychwood would actually be south of St.Clair. And if somebody specifically says, you know, we don't have any preference, or we do, we want to be in Wychwood proper, okay, great, now we can talk. What I find is that a lot of people are sort of saying, I want to be at Bathurst and St.Clair. And so maybe that would have been a better blog title today, Bathurst and St.Clair. In fact, I might go back and change the title. So what we're going to do today, and let's just zoom in a little bit here. Okay, perfect. And I'll draw a little box around this. So from Bathurst down, and we're actually going to go to one over here on Ashworth, but for all intents and purposes, I think Davenport would be the line. And then just sort of up here through Oakwood and around on Vaughan. So I've got several clients that live over here in Humewood. They're great streets. They're a lot more detached houses than, let's say, over here Ellsworth, Hawken, and Helena. There's some pretty small little houses. There's a 2-bedroom that we'll see today. There's some short lots down here as well. So we're going to take a look at basically everything both north and south of St.Clair, which I think will give you a pretty good idea of the differences in locations and prices. So let's do this. I'm going to show you the last, I think this is 30 days of sales. So we've got one down here. See this on Rushton. And that's sort of what we would call Wychwood proper. Then you've got two up here in Humewood. You've got this little semi-detached bungalow. And then up here, you've got this one at 327 Arlington, which sold for a big number. I'll come back to that in a minute. Then over here, you've got on Robina, which is just east, I'll zoom in here, just east of Oakwood. So some people don't really mind this spot over here. I think once you are west of Oakwood towards Dufferin, it's a very, very different area. As I said, Wychwood proper, great, people love it. That's probably the top spot up here in Humewood near Bathurst and St. Clair. And as you move west, the prices drop off a little bit. So I'll show you what did sell. The one on Wychwood, this is a semi-detached bungalow, only a 2-bedroom, $799, sold for $925. Here's Robina, and again, you can see how the prices really drop off. $799 sold $915, and you know, it's a big 2-story. It's a 3-bed, albeit with an unfinished basement, but you can really see how prices drop as you move west. Now here's Rushton. Rushton was $998, sold $965. It's the only one that sold under list. This thing was a little bit rougher, had no parking. I think that price is warranted. And then here's the one I mentioned on Arlington. Wow. $1,089,000 sold for $1,370,000 because it's detached, but this was an estate sale. I mean, it's staged nicely and everything. And you know, you hear estate sale and you assume that it's just an absolute piece of crap. No, it's not. It's a well taken care of home. But an estate is obviously somebody that passed away. And I'm going to generalize and say that, you know, old people, not to say that everyone's old when they pass away, hopefully, but most old people don't have 2019 finishes. So I'll leave it at that. As I said, it is detached. It's got 4 beds and it sold for $1,370,000. So now I want to take a look at what is available. And with that background, maybe you can get a better understanding of the prices. So again, we're really looking both north and south of St. Clair. We're trying to stay east of Oakwood. I did find one down here that I wanted to show you guys because it's listed under $1 million. It's also south of Davenport, and I want to see how that's going to play into pricing. Okay, so we'll start with that one there. So this is 223 Ashworth. Now I'll go to the map and show you exactly where this is. So Ashworth is one of these little side streets that's east of Christie. So you can see it's not too far from Hillcrest Park. There's a bus on Christie. I mean, there's a little bit of infrastructure here. I guess the issue that I would think a lot of buyers have is that you've got all commercial over here, right? And everyone wants that beautiful leafy tree-lined street, which this is. I'm not going to say that it's not. Let's just jump the little man here and take a look. So it's a beautiful tree-lined street. And thank you, Google, for not doing this in winter, right? So great street. Absolutely beautiful. I have no issue with this street. I think some people would take issue with the fact that you've got the Hillcrest yard over here. You might hear a lot of screeching from streetcars and that sort of thing. But you've also got down here a lot of commercial, and people would say, you know, oh, that's really great, but I want to be up here. I want to be up here in prime streets. So I think this house, here we go. I think this house is an excellent property. $989 obviously holding back offers. We're looking at a 3-bed, 2-bath. Second bathroom is a 3-piece, so you do have 2 showers in there. 19 by 112, not too bad. So it's a pretty looking house. It's an Edwardian from the outside and red brick. I think it's very cool. Inside, exposed brick, nice touch, closed up the fireplace, still have the original stucco ceiling. Bit of a stage job here. I think it shows maybe a little bit better than, let me just show you this, right? You can see the floor is old and it's scratched, and this is all staging stuff, but that's what we real estate agents do. Okay, so get a sense of the floor plan. Very typical main floor plan, excuse me. These floors here look original. I wasn't sure about the ones in the front there. But again, you can see here's the stucco ceiling. Here's really old windows. These could be original with the old, yeah, you can see it there, the drawstring. So it's a really nicely staged house, but it's not really updated. So it needs a little bit of work. But I love the exterior of it. I think it's a really pretty house. So there's bedroom 1. There's a bathroom again. Not needs a reno, could use a reno. We say needs a lot, first world problems. So there's a fireplace with some logs that probably will never be on fire. Not a lot of working fireplaces anymore in houses. I would love a working fireplace. So here they kind of copped out on the staging. They just said, ugh, let's just leave our old crappy furniture. And there is who took these photos? Holy cow. There's the backyard. Okay, so they do have a 1-car garage, which is nice. Look at this. They must have taken this photo after that big snowstorm. Why couldn't they go back and take another one? Okay, so what I would think off the back here, this is pretty obvious. These guys have done a bump out. This is another bedroom. This is a main floor family room. The opportunity is there for you to do that as well. So for $989, they're holding back offers. Let me see. I can't believe I just did that. I'm old. I put my glasses on to see. My entire life I've been watching people do that, and now I'm one of those. Okay, so taking offers on February 12th. So $989, I mean, I think it's over $1 million, there's no question. How much over, I think, will be determined by people's desire to live in that specific pocket. So let's take a look again at the floor plans. So downstairs we had that rec room with the old furniture, main floor living dining, very basic layout. You could open this up, which I think is what a lot of people would ask. Everyone wants open concept, and start taking down some of the freestanding walls. I think a lot of people today want no walls in here. That's the feedback that I'm getting from a lot of my buyers. And then upstairs we've got a master's, a good size. Middle bedroom's always tight. Third bedroom's okay. All right. So nice house. I think that's I don't think that this is $1.1 million. But I would be more surprised to see it sell for $989. I think it's a great opportunity, but it does need a little bit of work. And they put main floor family room here. I do not see one. I hate when people do that. Okay, so let's move on here to Greensides. Now, Greensides is really, really, really interesting for a reason that I will get to in a moment. First, I want to show you the street. Okay, so Greensides is just south of St.Clair. And this one, guys, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out why it hasn't sold. It's been on the market 8 days. It passed its offer date. So you're going to say to me, wait a minute, David, you just told us that this thing at $989, which is further south, is going to sell for over $1 million, and this thing's $1,049,000. It's a 4-bed, and it's a semi-detached with a private drive, and it hasn't sold. The market's not always completely efficient. I cannot figure out why this hasn't sold for $1,089,000. It's wild. Again, really good staging job in here. They've redone the kitchen. Pretty crappy photos, if I do say so. I don't get it, guys. I mean, I think that the 4 bedrooms are really, really tight, and I'll show you the map in a moment, or the floor plans in a moment. There's a bit of a tandem thing happening there, as you can see. So you got an old clawfoot tub, things that I absolutely hate. And there you've got the basement apartment. So, I mean, I have a client on, oh, there's the dog, that's cute. I have a client on Greensides. They have a property that has a basement apartment. I think they paid 1.2 2 years ago. I mean, it's way better house, but I can't figure out how this thing's still available at $1,049,000. So part of me thinks that maybe they took offers last night, didn't get anything, they updated it, they're gonna raise the price, I'm not sure. But let's go to the floor plan here. So you can see bedrooms. This third bedroom, it's a tandem, or sorry, fourth bedroom, it's a tandem. You do actually have room, but I think, you do actually have a real bedroom is what I wanted to say, but there's no closet here. And then there's no bathroom here. So I'm looking at this thinking that eventually someone's going to turn that into a bathroom, and it's really only a 3-bedroom. So maybe that's part of the reason why it's not flying off the shelves. Again, it's not a huge house, 735 and 762. So you're about 1,400 square feet. But to me, this is one of the best deals in the city. A private driveway. If this thing really truly is available at this price point, it's past its offer date, it hasn't sold. I think it's a tremendous opportunity, and I'm just shocked that this thing has not sold. So again, we play that off of this one in Ashworth. I don't know, maybe some people like the exterior more, that's got more curb appeal than this guy here. That's not my thing. I'm trying to rationalize it and figure out reasons why this thing hasn't sold. And of course, how in the world can this thing sell for, say, $1,050,000 if this guy right here is available at $1,050,000? It's a much better location. It's just south of St.Clair. And as for school district, let me put this up here somewhere. There's 3 schools in the area. There is Hillcrest, which ranks a 7.4 by the Fraser Institute. There's McMurrick, which ranks a 6.7. And then there's Humewood, which ranks a 6.7. So Ashworth happens to fall in Hillcrest, and Greensides happens to fall in McMurrick. I don't see a difference there. I really don't see a difference there. I would still take this house any day of the week over Ashworth. I just think that this location right here is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. We have some good pace right now. To 76 Arlington. So here again is where, we're going to look at the price point. We're going to say market seems to be out of flux here. And I'll show you why. This is $1,250,000, 8 days on the market. And they're holding back offers. Offers actually were on Wednesday night. Okay, so we'll see if they, literally as I'm doing this, the sale price could be published and maybe it would just change it MLS. But it's only a 2-bedroom house. So this is a very cool house from the outside. Let me show you. Beautiful house, very pretty house. It's detached, it's red brick. I mean, that's a gorgeous house, right? But it's only a 2-bedroom. And as I always tell my buyers, if you have to have parking and have to have a finished basement and have to have a renovated house, all those trade-offs for the 2-bed. Because a 3-bed gives you longevity. A 2-bed, you're gonna be calling me in a few years and saying we need a bigger house. And then you have to pay me, and you have to pay your lawyer, and you have to pay the province, and you have to pay the city, all to move. So get the 3-bed if you can. Now the house itself, another awesome location. Now this is a little bit further west. East of Greensides. So where we just were is 2 streets east. Arlington's definitely busier. God, I can't talk today. Busier, because Arlington, as you see, is one of the few streets that goes through St.Clair. And then you've got Greensides, which doesn't really go anywhere. So Arlington has more traffic. Arlington is a little bit closer to the park. It's in the same school district as Greensides. I'd call it a wash in terms of the actual locations. So let's take a look at the photos. They've obviously renovated the heck out of this. Now, some people might object to this. No, not the pretty brick, but the fact that when you open the door, you are literally right inside. There's no foyer, there's no closet, there's nowhere to hang coats. What in the world is happening here? It feels like a condo. And so $1,250,000 for like a condo alternative, okay, it's a maybe. Now you walk through the house and you can see that they've pushed the table to the other side, which I absolutely hate. Why not leave it here? This is how most people would have it. Otherwise, you've just got an empty space, dance studio, unused, do whatever you want with it. Okay, so let me show you this. Okay, wide angle lens, you think? Look how big that table is there. And then look how small it is there. Yep, that makes sense. So, should I? Yes, I will. See this right here, 360 Home Photography 2019. A lot of people use this company, and they're terrible. They have linked their website to MLS so that every listing that comes out, you automatically get an email. Congratulations on your new listing. Let me know if you want to do photos, blah, blah, blah. So I, of course, wrote back and said unsubscribe. They kept doing it. And I said, I am telling you to unsubscribe. And they emailed me back and said, we cannot unsubscribe you. You are automatically getting emails. And I said, right. But the Canadian anti-spam legislation says that if I say to unsubscribe me, you have to. And basically they don't know how. So then I filed a complaint with Castle and nothing happened. Their argument was, if you don't want to receive these emails, change your junk mail settings. Are you kidding me? Anyway, so they're awful photographers. These photos aren't bad, but they watermark all of them, which is a joke. And then what are you going to do? Put it in your marketing material, like in your feature sheets with that on there? It's highly unnecessary. They're also cheap, which is why agents use them. I can't believe I just went through all that, but it really bothers me. No honor among thieves, right? Okay, so the kitchen's really nice in this thing. I mean, look, the entire house is nice. It's just the 2-bedroom that I have an issue with. So that's the master. It's a queen, one little IKEA on one side and a skinny mini on the other. So that's the 2nd bedroom. Now you're going to say I'm paying $1,250,000 for like a day bed in the 2nd bedroom. I don't have a 3rd bedroom. I think that's what you've got to decide. Downstairs basement. I love this old door. It's very neat. But you can see by the ceiling height, so this is stucco. This here, I'm going to guess, is probably like 5'10", 5'11" with that bulkhead. So really, what have you got? You've got a couch that's facing an easel. Where are you going to put your TV, right? It's not the best layout. And here you've got your 2nd bath, which is sort of the open concept variety. Okay. Not the best photo, again, with the mirror placement and everything there. Okay, so you do have a really nice backyard. You can tell that, obviously, this is what you end up getting when somebody renovates. At least they put a fence in there. I hate when people renovate and they just leave the fence. And here's the photographer's footprints. Yeah, the old wire fences drive me nuts. So I will say that I like the fact that they probably didn't charge the neighbors for it, although really it's just lumber. I built fences in the summer of 2002, I think. Okay, so there's your garage, and there's the front of the house again. Okay, so 2-car parking, $1,250,000 holding back offers. I don't see it. I would rather have Greensides. Yes, it's a semi, but it's a much bigger house, and you're really just paying for the fact that this is detached, and it's new, and it's shiny. So we'll see what it ends up going for. I don't think it's going to move. But as you can tell here, this is literally one of the areas in the city where there's just no continuity among the pricing. All right, let's go on to 499 Rushton. So now we're into a whole other type of property. This is $1,579,000 for a detached on a 25 by 120. Now it's been on the market for 22 days. So maybe up at this price point, you're not doing the whole under list thing. As you can see, the houses that I showed you that had sold, we can go back to that if you want. You know, $799,000, $925,000, $799,000, $915,000. This one sold just under list, and here you've got $1,089,000, $1,370,000. So here you've got $1,579,000. Seems like these guys, I believe this is a flip, if you want to call it that, or a builder house. It looks like they are pricing high and sort of taking the wait and see approach. So Rushton as a street, pretty good spot. It's up north of St.Clair, further north than what is ideal. I mean, look, we're splitting hairs. You'd rather be down here in walking distance to St.Clair. Not to say that your legs can't take you there, but it is very close to the school. So Humwood again is a 6.7. If you're, in this school district, obviously seems to reason, you'd rather be a block from the school if you have a family than say over here. At least I would. I was always jealous of those kids growing up that lived so close to the school. So detached, renovated, really nicely done, I must say. This is very original in terms of layout, right? And things like, the staircase, for example, they've modernized it with the wide plank flooring and staging it with modern glass tables. And inside, again, freestanding walls. You can see it's a very, very original footprint. They've just done, a decent reno in here. Now, floor plan. What do you see here? I see a couch, I see a fireplace, and then I see a fridge, and then I see a dining table. So this might be part of the holdup. They've done a beautiful job with coffered ceilings, great Wolf appliance, very cool marble backsplash. But talk to me about the layout here. Your dining areas and your kitchen. Now this is interesting. Is this where your washer dryer goes? Maybe, because I think they've got a basement apartment here. So these photos are all over the map here. Okay, so now we're upstairs, bedroom 1, bedroom 2. Very expensive to take these fireplaces out because this brick goes in to the brick that's between the rooms, if that makes any sense. So you can't just, it's not just exterior, you can't take it all out. You have to go into the wall. MLS always does this, one photo doesn't work. Okay, so here's the bathroom, and now we're down into the basement. Interesting stage job, the Noguchi table. Okay, so basement apartment, pretty good. I mean, this would rent in about 2 seconds. Okay, so more photos of the basement, and that is the bathroom. And then this is interesting. So they have a coach house. This is a very confusing listing. So this is the coach house at the back. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the virtual tour. Where is it here? Okay, here we go. So let me go to the virtual tour because there's actually more photos here. So this is where we were, right? So this is the basement apartment. It's a really great apartment, and that's the bedroom, which they didn't show. And so here's the coach house. This is neat, okay? Backyard, and then here's the coach house. Really nice to have a goddamn boiler, like really, like right in your living room. Okay. And there is the kitchen, and there is the bedroom. So this is not legal, or at least they're not selling this with a legal coach house. It specifically says in the listing, seller does not warrant retrofit status of coach house. So if you're interested in this, you have a great house, you've got a basement apartment, and you've got a coach house. This thing just screams income. If you put a tenant in the basement, $1,300. If you put someone in the coach house, $2,000. There's so much income in here. You could live for a pittance, whatever that means in Toronto. The issue with this house is what's legal. And if you buy a house knowing full well that certain things aren't legal, and let's be honest, Toronto's full of illegal basement apartments, and no one really cares. And the city's not going to do anything about it because, of course, we have a housing shortage. So you can't just go in and tell everyone in the basement apartment to get out. But the coach house is something different. If that is not legal, and again, I can't speak to whether it is or isn't, it specifically says, and I'll read it here, seller and agent does not, I should say do not, warrant retrofit status of house and coach house garage. Perfect. Okay. So buyer beware, I suppose. That, I think, is the issue with this house. Otherwise, it would have sold. It would have sold 10 times over. It's a detached house on a 25-foot lot with a legal front pad parking. Legal. Illegal, not illegal. With a basement apartment that maybe I'm light on the rent. I don't know. What do you think that would go for? I said 13. That's a joke. What would that thing be? It's brand new. I don't know, 15, 1600. The gosh darn coach house? That'd be $2,000. So you're looking at what, 3,500 in income? You could afford to buy this house. So I like it. I just don't like the idea of buying uncertainty. Okay, let's move on here, guys. Last one, we'll take a look at 54 Benson. So this is another, I don't want to say flip, but you can, I blur out the sellers, of course. You can see when it's a company name. It looks like it is, well, it is a reno project. And of course, when we take a look at the photos, and we see inside and it's empty, and it's nice and new. Yes, it's a reno project. So similar layout here to the last one. Very traditional foyer, freestanding walls, opening it up to couch, chair, right? I'm basically virtual staging this thing. And then we go into the kitchen, dining. My feeling on this, guys, it lacks soul. Like it lacks soul, right? It's very sterile. And again, this is why you should stage properties, because this looks so sterile and boring. And you also have no idea really of the layout because you need furniture to scale things. And then the photos suck, right? I'm just flipping along, and I'm basically losing you. You're like, great, photos of a floor and a wall. You need furniture to show the scale. So here you can see the washer dryers upstairs. This is a half story up top where we've got 2 bedrooms. And this is going downstairs. Not a bad layout for photos. You've got yet another basement apartment, which doesn't have appliances. Then you've got a big backyard, and that's it. You've got parking. So not a very good listing. $1,698,000, 5-bed, 3-bath, 22 days in the market, 25 by 132, 2.5 story. Now what they haven't said is that there's a basement apartment here, right? I mean, it's kind of like half an apartment. Location-wise, we are on Benson, another unbelievable location. So we're on Benson, and we're basically facing the park. Why don't we drop this guy down here? What? Oh my God. How drunk am I right now? Oh my God. Look at this. Google literally just passed out. Google, where are you? As my daughter always says. She says, Mommy, where are you? And then she started saying, I'm gonna find you. And my wife says that is so creepy. All right, I don't know what's happening with Google right now. Oh, wow. We were literally upside down. Okay, so here you can see that's the Artscape Witchwood Barns. This is not working. I'm going to try this again one more time. And if it doesn't work, then I'm going to say I shouldn't have bothered. Okay, let's put the guy down there. No, it's not going to let us put the guy down here. There we go. And we're upside down again. Okay, so I'm opting out of this. Right. But you get the idea, guys. It's a great location. The house itself is just very sterile, very boring, very plain. $1,699,000, $698,000. I think they're going to come down in price. Now, obviously, this thing is, offers any time at $1,698,000. They never did have an offer date. But I will say this: the same agent that listed Rushton has listed this one. Is it possible that it's the same owner? They're in different company names. Multiple projects in the same area at the same time. They're not really the same area though. They're north and south of St.Clair. Anyways, so there you go, guys. What we're seeing here, and maybe one of the takeaways, is that there's a lot of action in the builder market. And I think that's a testament to the fact that there is demand in this area among buyers. And there's a lot of older houses. There's a lot of older housing stock, things that are unrenovated, right? One of the ones that I showed you was an estate sale. And builders are always looking for projects. They're always looking for an opportunity to come in, do a quick and dirty, which to be honest, I think that one is. Because its original layout, it just looks like they've painted and put in new fixtures and kitchen, etc. But that one to me lacks soul, and I mean it. It really lacks anything that feels like a Witchwood house. The Arlington one was really nice. It was super renovated. I go back to Greensides, and I think it's just an unbelievable deal. But you get the idea here. You are somewhere between $1 million, $1,050,000, $1 million, which is not bad for entry level in the city of Toronto. And then the bigger houses, and not to say that there aren't ones that are over $2 million, but houses like this on Benson, $1.7 million, probably going to sell for $1.6 million. Houses like this on Rushton, which is a bit of an issue with a potentially not legal coach house situation, $1.5 million, $1.6 million, right? That's sort of the upper end here. So that's it, guys. That is Witchwood. And as I said, it is Witchwood, Humewood, Hillcrest, all kind of down into one. And it's a kind of a confusing area, but most people just sort of say St.Clair and Bathurst. And they certainly don't mean down here, because this is a whole other type of real estate. Really cool, actually. If you're driving along St.Clair, you don't want to make this turn on Bathurst, turn down here on Lyndhurst and circle around. Go through Wells Hill, go down here, Austin Terrace, near Casa Loma, not on this street here, but just to loop around and then come out over here. This is what I usually do anyways. I go down West Hill and come out at Nina. It's just a really neat little housing stock here if you're ever in the area and you don't feel like making that turn and lining up. Hang a Lucy. That's left. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.